Hi, this is Henry Nacino, and in this video I'm going to show how you can manage multiple endpoints in multiple environments. So the idea is, if you've been asked this by customers, is how do I point the test environment to a test endpoint and a prod environment to a production endpoint. So in my demo here, what I have configured is we're going to have our test endpoint pointed right here to demo 658.1405, and my production endpoint pointed to this one, 88.47182. So if we look at the configuration, let's go into Apigee, and so I have a proxy which has been deployed in both test and prod. And if we look at the default, you'll see that default is going to the target endpoint of default. And if we look at the target endpoint, you'll see that we have, instead of a URL, to a specific endpoint, which points both the test environment and prod environment to a single service endpoint. We now have two endpoints, node 1 and node 2, that we are load balancing. At least load balancing, potentially load balancing. So let's go now and make a call to the test environment and just see how that's running right now and what it's configured for. So this is a loop using Ruby that's making calls out to the proxy that's deployed in test. And as you can see, it's going to the same service endpoint 658.1405 over and over again. And now let me kill this, and let me go out to the prod environment and make calls to the prod proxy, and you will see that that's going to a single prod service endpoint of 88.47182. Okay, so now what I want to do is modify the service endpoint of the test environment and see how that doesn't affect the consumer applications. So let me go ahead and kick off the first one here that was making calls out to the test environment. And now let's go back into Postman, and I am going to actually change the backend service endpoint for the test environment. Okay, so just to verify, right now we are going to 658.105, and what we are going to do is change. So now we are going to now be hitting this service endpoint 8107489. Okay, and so as you can see in the URL, we are updating the target servers in the test environment, specifically the node attached to node 1 attached to the test environment. So we can actually see this running at the same time. Let me go ahead and send this. So you see it's still executing, and we're still hitting 658.1405. I hit send on the right side, and notice we automatically pick that up with my loop on the left-hand side, and now we're going at and hitting 8107489 automatically without any service disruption. Okay, so we can actually go back and do the exact same opposite, and now move node 1 back to 658.1405, and there we go again. Now we're back to 658.1405. Okay, so now let's go to part 2 of this. And what I want to do in part 2 is load balance. So in the test environment, I just have one service endpoint. I just switched it from one service endpoint to a different service endpoint. In part 2 of this, what I want to do in the production environment is add a second service endpoint, so I'm load balancing across two service endpoints and not just have a single endpoint in prod. So on the left hand side, I'm going to kick off another loop that calls my production proxy, Um, okay, so now we're going at 8847182, and now let me go over here in Postman, and what I want to do is enable a second production node. Okay, so now we should have, when I hit send on the right hand side, we should now enable 2 nodes being load balanced in production. Hit send. So now you can see we have it alternating between 8847182 and 990574. Okay, and again, notice there was no disruption to the service or to the applications that were consuming the service or the proxy, and all was kind of managed through the API. Okay, that concludes. If you have any questions, please give me a call. This is Henry Nacino. Thanks.